Hello.
Hello. Oh, sorry.
Well, welcome, Eva, and I'm Gina, and this is Tim, and our YouTube channel is Star Dragon Brood, and we love having conversations with different people about fantastic things that are happening. So today, Eva's with us, and Eva, if you want to introduce yourself. Oh, sorry, I didn't give you a chance to.
We're right.
Go for it.
Well, no, I would say, like, what are we interested in? What are
Oh
the kind
gosh,
of things?
that would take forever.
Well, I mean, just a synopsis.
Okay, so really any expansive, open thinking about things, whether it be our history, where we're going in the future, ascension, enlightenment, healing energies,
Open-mindedness.
open-mindedness, whether it is on current events or
we started with Sheila and Lisa on
Conscious Conversation Central.
And we started doing videos with them. We did not know what we were going to say or do.
Mm-hmm.
And we started what was called Dream Space. That just seemed where we went.
Yeah.
And I started talking about my dreams. And initially, Sheila and Lisa said they couldn't remember their dreams.
Mm-hmm.
But by the time we got into a couple of my dreams, they were saying, well, I do remember my dream. So I think we're activating each other.
Yes.
And that's the whole reason why we're doing this, is hopefully we can activate someone or someone can activate us, and we just keep paying it forward. Yeah. So that's kind of what this whole, I guess, the YouTube site is about.
Mm-hmm. And we get activated having the conversations. So, I mean,
Yeah, we already said we need to start recording our conversations in the living room, because we have some of these, it's like, wow, man, 3 hours just went by. We were talking about this stuff and we were getting chills and whatever. So we bought the mics. We just haven't started
done it yet. So
that is amazing. You are guys like a conscious couple who just like have to just record their conversation, or like a dream what other people wish to have. So
yeah, we consider ourselves very fortunate.
Very fortunate. Yes.
Yeah.
Nice, so great. Well, thank you for inviting me to your space and share this conversation with you, because I also believe that when conscious people come together, or when the people who, let's say, are even tiny bit open to spirituality or have that open mind, our light codes exchange right at the conversation. We don't really necessarily have to do any energy healing for each other. We just talk, and that is healing. Mm-hmm. And that trigger our memories, remind us of that, who are we? Where were we in the past, and where is it that we want to really go in the future? So thank you for inviting me. And for those who don't know me, my name is Eva Marquez, and I'm a soul healer. I'm a soul healer. I write, I do healing, I consult the people, and you can find me on my website, which will be listed below. Let's keep it nice and short.
I will say we did read some of your books and found them very enlightening.
Did you?
Just to give us a foundation, because we were just getting into the galactics.
Yeah, that was probably 3 years ago.
Yeah, when we started reading your books, and it was a huge starting point, reading your books. It really propelled us forward. Mm-hmm. So we definitely want to say thank you for those books.
Absolutely.
Thank you, and thank you for reading them. And I'm so happy to hear that, because it really affirms me that it helps to humanity, because that's my goal, that information that we share, and I think that we all share, your channel and everybody else out there, that it helps us to get us that next step, to help us, where is it that we are going. And I think the galactic information is so exciting, because we are trying to download literally our extraterrestrial consciousness into these bodies, for the reason that we can be in the service on this earth, not literally that we, hop on the spaceship and go somewhere else. There's a lot of job to do here yet. Mm-hmm. That's what I think.
Yeah, we do too. I think there's a reason why we're here. So,
yes.
And it's not to just suffer through life and get through it. If that's not why we're here. No. We're actually here to learn and experience, and then have fun.
Yes.
A lot of people forget the fun part, and that's going to be one of my items on the list. Mm-hmm. So
I like that. I really like that. And I think, so I try to always look at it, how we can do this spirituality with the fun. we, can grow and do this, and we don't have to go through this, all those symptoms and the suffering and the depression and hating this life because we are living on the earth and not in the Pleiades or somewhere else, right? I think that's very common, and it's very something that at least I hear from these people who feel very disconnected. There's like, forget about here, I want to be there. And I says, well, you came here and need to do a job here until you're going to be there. And you cannot live this life in the resentment that you are not living out there, right? So,
Yeah.
And we talk about attitudes. It's
yes.
Everything matters coming from your attitude.
Yeah.
How your attitude is set up before you go into something will determine whether it's fun, whether it's work, whether it's just the worst time you've ever had. It's all based on your attitude and what you think is going to happen. So
Absolutely.
we like to be open-minded, say, I don't know what's going to happen, because that to us at least says, I'm open to whatever. I don't have expectations. I'm not thinking it's going to happen this way. Or we tell our higher selves, I want this, I want this, I want this, when really we don't want the thing. We want the feeling that the thing gives us. And the higher self is trying to give us what we really want, and we think we want something else.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like it is, not looking for those expectations, because then you cannot be really disappointed. Whatever you get, you are happy with. And you're not living like, but I wanted a red thing and not the purple thing. And the thing is purple. And you don't know that it was supposed to be, right? That's what the higher self had in the mind.
Yeah.
So I like that. I call it, Pleiadians call it the choices. They says, since the time that you came here, you had the choices. We had the choices. We had a choice to decide to come on the earth. We had a choice to decide to stay here after the destruction of Atlantis. It's not that anybody forced us. That's kind of a thing that came about 2 weeks ago, because I'm working on another book. And then there's a part of it when I really had to stop, and they says, okay, so you're putting yourself in these roles of the teachers and, enlightening the humanity, which is really good, and we really, really like it. Says, but realize that it is you who have decided to do this. So own it and do it. But don't blame others that you are not supported on this journey. If you own it, and if you don't have this expectation where you're going, you could be an amazing teacher. But you cannot say, I'm going to be the teacher when I'm receive this and that, or this kind of the financial support, or, whatever I want. But if I decided to do this, so I go with the flow, I don't have an expectation, but I know I'm going to be supported on this journey. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because we put down all these conditions.
Yes.
I'll be a teacher if this is in place and that's in place, or I can get this, or this happens first. And all we're doing is limiting ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah, because we're not trusting that we chose that. It's like we want outside proof that that's what it is that you were supposed to. It's like, well, if I was meant to do that, then this would happen, or that would happen. And it's like, no, you chose to do that. You step into it, like you're saying, and then the things that you need will happen.
You definitely get supported on this journey, because if it's if you decided and you set it as your destiny, for example, then you're following your destiny. And of course, you are supported on this journey by everything up there. But you have to walk the journey. I think there's one thing that came up to me today, was that I started to read the book of Kolbrin. I don't know if you are familiar with it. There's something I have just found yesterday. I'm really excited about it. It's a book of the ancient scriptures, the Kolbrin. I'm going to send you the link to it. And there's this one sentence that is written that the life on the earth is not for the man's pleasurement. It's for the soul grow, and for us to be in the learning the lessons and grow. And that really resonated with me. I was like, yes, this is what I'm always talking about. We are not here just, to drink the pina colada on the Hawaii beach, which I would like. But, there's a part of the human who says, why can I have an easy life, right? And then there's a part of it, we can have a fun with this and the fun life. So I'm curious, what do you guys do for fun that is aligned with your spiritual life?
We watch and play with birds and squirrels.
We lined, we have a back room that is a tile floor, and it's got really, really big windows all lined up, so it opens up the back of that room, and there's an eaves over, just a little eaves over it, and we hung some bird feeders, including hummingbird feeders, and the birds and the squirrels entertain us constantly.
Yes.
And it's amazing what we've seen there. When it first started, it was a couple of chickadees and titmice and cardinals. And now, I mean, we've seen a hawk. We get woodpecker. We get 3-4 different kinds of woodpeckers.
That's so cool.
Many different at the same time.
All kinds of different birds, blue jays,
robins,
cardinals, yeah.
So
wrens.
We don't really go anywhere. We go to the beach because we're only 15 minutes from the beach.
And we walk. We like to walk. So
we go to the swimming pool. So and we go for walks. This is kind of like a golf resort area. So the path around the golf course is really, it's all wooded.
That is sweet.
So, we have fun, like the conversations we were telling you about, and like having a recorder for us. I mean, we have fun in that. So I mean, that's fun for us. It's not like work or not, you know.
That is so cool, because I do the same thing. I have a bird feeder sitting from my window to like to watch who comes there, and the weird animal sometimes comes there. One time even fed the raccoon, which I thought was the straight cut.
All right, we got to tell her the story. You got to
tell me the raccoon story.
All right, so one night we were sitting and we have a love sack. It's a huge, kind of like a beanbag, but it's very comfortable. And we were sitting in there and we were watching some video or something, and we heard some scratching outside those big windows in the back room. So we kept hearing it, and finally she got up. She's like, I'm going to see what that is. And it was right outside the house. So
I took my cell phone light and turned on the light. That's what I did.
Right, and she leaned over the window, and as soon as she got there were 2 raccoons. One was looking up right at us like, oh, you got me. And the other one would not look at us at all. Like, but it was,
I'm not here. I'm not here at all.
It was there the whole time. So one is looking at us, one's down here. And he sat there and looked at us
for a long time,
for a couple minutes, and we were shocked, and he was shocked. And then at one point, this guy just started not fast, just kind of rambling away. And at one point he stopped, and I said, I think he just called him back because he was like, come on, Ralph, we got to go. And they just waddled off.
It was hilarious.
Oh my God, that is so funny.
So we've had that. Oh, what about the snake?
Yeah, we have a snake out there.
One day we were out back and we were doing, I don't know, raking up some leaves or doing something. And I was on the far side of the house in the back, and I saw something move right along the base of the house, and it was big, it was long, it was probably, I'm going to say 4 feet long.
Oh my goodness.
4 feet long. And so I turned to follow it because it was moving, not real fast, but it was moving. And as I got closer, it must have felt me, and it went a lot faster. It was moving pretty good. And it was just a black snake. It wasn't anything poisonous or anything, but it followed the contours of the house until it got to this other corner of the house. And then it made a beeline for the woods, and I was following it, and it got maybe a couple feet in the woods, and I stopped. I wasn't going to chase a snake in the woods, and it stood up.
Yeah.
It stood up at least.
It was 2 or 3 feet.
2 or 3 feet tall, and was looking right at me.
Oh my God! You guys have the same stories like me, and I swear to God, we did not prepare this.
No.
How weird it is! So I never heard anybody that a black snake stood up, and I was like, "Did you just read my mind?" When we moved here to South Carolina, we have like the nice big backyard. So one day I'm sitting in there, and I'm talking with my mother on the Skype because she's in Europe. And there's this black snake also, the long one comes, we have a wooded area in the back.
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of freaked out, the snake be coming from the north. I'm not really, I don't mind animals, but I don't want to have a snake encounter. He stood up, like you said, about 2 feet, and he's looking at me. I was like, oh, it's like the cobra in the backyard. And my neighbor goes, that's just the black snake. They're harmless.
Exactly. I'd never seen one do that before.
No, and I never heard anybody say that. Well, don't you think that these animals feel our energy? They
Yes.
sort of, they are so open. They feel our energy and they feel safe. Somebody gonna look like, so who are you? Are you gonna feed me and this? They don't feel the harm that comes to them, from us, which usually, comes from a lot of humans who get scared of them. Exactly. I don't say that all of them, but humans naturally get scared, so they, to become violent. But it's animals, I think they feel our energy and they feel safe and they come, it's like a sanctuary around our house. And so they also create, I think, this beautiful energy for us, like this beautiful energy nature vortex for us. And what I really love about spiritual people that, we get our high from watching the animals and going for the walk and go from the beach. Like, we don't need to go. And I don't mean to all of them, and this is not a judgment, but I don't need to go to the bar or, to be somewhere there or have some loud parties or so much on. I always joke, like, we don't even need to drink. We just get high on the energy, and I love it.
Yes, exactly.
From our meditations and stuff. And if you compare, and I'm sure that we all have the wild 20s, right? When we were not, I don't know like you, but I was not as happy with it, just the meditation. And, those days is like just totally way different person than we are today. And there's so much love the person that I am today, I think that you are today, right?
Yeah.
That is just, there's just this stress of the expectations fall away. We can be who we are and have fun from our, with our friends, animals, and watching them, watching the stars, doing the fire in the backyard. And why I'm saying this, I think that, again, there's just so much these expectations from the people. What does it really mean to be happy? Like, what do you have to do? Do you really have to travel to the Stonehenge to feel happy? No, you don't. Or can you sit in your backyard and just, watch the stars, put a few things on the, in the pit and make your fire, roast the marshmallows or, the sausages with those who eat the meat. In the Czech, we commonly roast the sausages on the stick. Mm-hmm. It's kind of funny thing that my husband laughs at. And even though I don't need to eat meat today, my son loves it. So it's a funny thing to do.
Right. To each his own. We recently, last year, we started the plant paradox diet. And that changed us drastically, at least physically. And I think it had an impact on us mentally. Yeah. And ever since then, because we did it in combination with some fasting, and I'm not the same person. Since then, I'm not the same person. I don't eat anything with sugar in it. I don't do anything with caffeine, which I never would have thought I would pick this. But once I did that plant paradox, and it cleared out a lot of lingering physical ailments and scar tissues and stuff like that. I mean, I'm actually retired, medically retired from the Marine Corps because of my shoulder. In fact, both my shoulders were kind of messed up, but this one was the one I messed up in the Marine Corps. And for, I don't know, the last, I would say 25 years, I had limited mobility in this shoulder. And I even had a lump right here where the scar tissue, it was scar tissue. The lump itself wasn't painful, but it was very physical, and it limited my mobility. We did the plant paradox. We did some fasting, did the plant paradox diet. And I don't know when it was, because I mean, I had it so long that I didn't regularly check it or whatnot. But one day I went to reach up or something, and I could reach up way above my head. And I was like, whoa, that's different. And so I did what I used to do, is I put my hand here, and I was like, looking for the lump. It was gone. It was
That
all
is so
gone.
cool.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been
Mm-hmm.
probably daily checking to see what else is gone, what other ailments or scars. And I mean, there are some that they're just gone.
Mm-hmm.
That is so cool. And so what is the diet? Is like the vegetarian-based diet?
Yeah, it removes all the lectins. So you don't
Mhm.
eat anything that has lectins in it. And he has in the doctor, I'm trying to think of his last name.
Yeah, I can't think of
I
it.
can't think, but the book is called The Plant Plant Paradox.
Mhm.
And he goes through and lists, he has a yes list and he has a no list.
Mhm.
And so as long as you eat on that yes list, you're eating everything that your body will naturally consume and absorb without any inflammation. It doesn't pass the gut lining, doesn't get into your body and cause inflammation. So it removes things like nightshades, anything with gluten. Gluten is a lectin, and so that's one of them, but it removes the other lectins. So you're eating a lot of vegetables, no fruits or very little fruit, but mainly vegetables and fish and
Right.
that kind of thing.
The main
That
thing
is
does,
interesting.
it gets rid of the inflammation in your body because
Mhm.
we're all inflamed in some form or fashion. A lot of us, it's
Yeah.
right in the midsection in the
Yeah.
gut area. But in the book, he talks about helping people with all the ailments you can think of, from cancer
to heart
disease and whatnot.
MS,
and basically, they would come to him for help because
There's nothing else, yeah.
they didn't have any other options. And he said, okay, but you're going to have to stick with this to get through this. And said, okay. And boy, if their
it works.
issues didn't go away. So I said, why not? So we did it. And then once we did it, there's the main list that you get down to of this is the good list of things you can eat.
Like phase one.
That's it's kind of like phase one. Once you've been doing that for a while and you've kind of gone where you want to go and you feel pretty good about it, then he has a phase two list that adds some more foods to it so you can start. And then I think he even has like a phase three where you can start adding more and more.
To like transitioning, yeah.
Yeah, because once your digestive tract heals itself, then you can handle this, things in small doses. It's just that with it out of whack and unhealthy, not processing properly, everything you have is, every little time you have it is inflammation and inflammatory.
So I was averaging about 180. About 185. And once I did the fasting and we were 6 to 9 months into the plant paradox, I was down to 155. I mean, stayed at 155. Now I'm about 160.
Yeah, because you started working out.
Let's see. Yeah. I guess I'm around 165 with
no fat.
Less than 5% body fat.
Yeah.
Well, you guys both really healthy. That is really cool.
It just once you get through the first couple of weeks, which is the hardest,
the cravings,
then the ailments and whatnot just start dropping off. The inflammation just starts going away. Now you will have periods where it comes back when you're clearing something, but it'll only be for like a day or two, and then you'll go back to not having any more inflammation. So I've done it so much, and I loved it so much that I pretty much stayed on the original list.
That is so cool. And it's nice that you do it together because, when one has this like, oh, I don't know, and I feel bad and I have a cravings, you can encourage each other. Whereas, in the family, sometimes it's harder when husbands and one family eats this and, to help another family eat something else. And then you are in this all alone. But it is so cool. See, from the healer's point of view, how this works on your body also is that, as you said, you tackling out the inflammation only with a food that is easily digestible. that cools down the nervous system, literally, because your nervous system has three main places. Well, it goes, of course, through the whole body, but there are three centers. One is in your guts, actually in your bladder. It spreads in your, whole the lower belly, heart, and the brain. It's like the three brains in the body, I guess, that are ruled by the nervous system. And the one in your lower belly, it's the most intelligent brain in the body that actually supplies to whole health in the body. So if you take care of your belly, then your body naturally should be the most healthiest body, ever. And when you cool down your nervous system, which I think is a lot of problems now with these cosmic energies coming, because they are triggering our nervous system. And plus, when we're eating all this food with a, weird diet and having inflammation and so much on, it's not in the healthiest way. So there's a lot of illnesses happening and people pass away from the left to the right. It's just, of course, there's been, the sole agreement, but there's also something that I think we can do to, for us while we are still to prevent this. Anyway, where I'm going with this is, because I know you to meditate and do all that stuff. So it's rather fascinating, to look at it as you're saying it, because you said, we had a huge spiritual growth and all this and that. But it was because, you fasted, you ate right, you cool down your nervous system. That nervous system, it's our Kundalini energy. It's the transmitter and receiver, all the psychic information that comes in and out the body. And because your body is clear, you can be the clear channel now. Like physically, this is almost like a physically how to do, what you describe. I'm not the best at the dieting. I need to get a little bit better at that. And you guys are such an inspiration to me. I'm still having a coffee addiction, I'll be honest about it.
I float. No, I have coffee, and occasionally I've cut it way
She's gone
down.
to like the phase 2 list.
Yeah,
that's the phase to have coffee.
Yeah. So she's added that back, and I think you can add pretty much anything you want
in moderation.
With moderation. One thing we found once we were doing the phase 1 is our taste buds came back.
Oh, yeah.
And so we could really taste the foods, and we were surprised at how sweet the vegetables were. We were eating Brussels sprouts like they were candy. You're like, oh my gosh, that's so good. Because we weren't tasting it before because of all the information throughout our system.
Yeah, that's amazing. So you kind of get where but what it does is when you do the phase 1, you clear out all of those hindrances, and you can kind of hear your body better. So and you can kind of gauge, okay, it wants, my body's wanting this kind of nutrient or this kind of food to consume it, and then you just consume it as healthy as you can and see what it does, and you'll figure out, is it okay to add that back or not add that back, but it's not getting messed up with everything else that was in the system to begin with. So that's why he does the phase 1, phase 2, phase.
Yeah, I just saw it as a reset. It was reset to get me back where I should have been had I not been consuming all that genetically modified food and sugar. Sugar is
poison.
Everything. I mean, you get dextrose, maltodextrin. All of this.
Fructose.
It's called fructose.
There's so many. Corn fructose syrup, Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah, we have a country full of sugar addicts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It is because it's in everything. So when I moved here from Europe 21 years ago, I remember that the food tasted awful here. Now, of course, now I love it, but I was like, oh my God, everything's sweet. The bread is sweet. Like, to eat a sweet croissant, but, back then I would eat a ham or something. I was like, oh, I don't know about it. But later on, you get used to it. It's actually very delicious and it's very addictive and so much on. But same as you're saying about the sugar, about, I think 2 years ago, me and my daughter, she challenged me actually. We went on this sugar-free diet for a month. And the same after, as you said, the taste buds were just amazing. Like everything tasted like so good.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, and it clears your brain fog, and
it really
you don't
does.
need as much coffee and stuff because your sugar level, when you eat sugar, your sugar level is just constantly going crazy. And so the energy spikes, and then you plummet down further than you were to begin with. And just cutting out sugar, if that's one step, cut out sugar, it makes a huge difference in your life.
Yeah.
Enormous difference.
And I think that once so let's say, you cut on that bad habit somewhere, we'll call it the bad habit, right? Even though it's not a bad habit, but it is bad for our body. But if you do it, you start to have the body talk, the body connection, right? Like you, as you said, you feel, okay, what my body wants, what my body doesn't want. That's probably what we, learning. This is what I think that these beings, when they came to Atlantis or, live here for a while, that they knew they were very connected to their body, majority of them, not all of them, but they knew, and they would kind of like, says, what's wrong, what is not wrong. Um, I was reading today morning for one lady who I believe was like this healer at the Rejuvenation Temple in the Atlantis. And there was this information that came that they use this sonic devices kind of like projected in the body, and her ears were trained to hear the resonance of the organs with the sounds. And it was just so cool. Like, it's my head. I wish that I have these perfect words for the explaining it, but it would be like, today when we look through the x-ray machine, we look, on the machine and the stuff, she could do it like with her ears, and just to hear it, the resonance, the sound resonance of every cell in the body, and kind of like says like, okay, here, I don't know, around your liver, there are not, good cells. Maybe you need to change your diet or do this herbal teas or the oils or so much on to rejuvenate those cells. Because, and I think back then it works the same way. I think they have a really unrealistic, sometimes talks about the past that, you go to this rejuvenating temple and this sonic device fix everything, and you go back eating your McDonald's, right? Imagine the McDonald's, the Atlantis. And no, you had to make changes, because everything is in an evolution. Evolution comes in the changes.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was kind of cool.
Yeah, because you'll recreate what was there before if you don't change what you're doing. You can get reset, like a reset button, but if you continue to then do what you did, you're going to eventually get back to where you were before.
Yeah, absolutely. So Tim, do you think that you have activated your self-healing abilities now?
Yes.
I'll let you answer. Go ahead. You tell me what you've seen, especially my back.
Yes, it's interesting because his back. Well, the back was incredible. That was the first thing, but then it was your knee and your ankle and everything else.
Yep.
But he started with the mind muscle connection. So it was kind of like trying to connect into and doing, like flexing or moving muscles and trying to be conscious of that. And actually, his shoulder blades, went from being about that far apart to being about that far apart.
Wow.
Back. I mean, one day I was hugging him and I went,
oh,
wow, your shoulder blades have moved. Because he doesn't see his back,
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the rib. Yeah.
I actually physically saw my rib cage being altered day by day.
It got really thick.
It's really thick now. The bones of my rib cage, I've gotten so much thicker, and I was sore for a month while it was undergoing that, and I could not lay on my stomach.
Oh, wow.
I tried to lay on my stomach, and it was too painful. So I wasn't worried. I didn't think anything was wrong. I knew my body, because after she told me about my back, and I had already knew about my shoulder, and then I was working on my knee. I played soccer since I was 5 years old, so I've had I've broken my left knee I don't know how many times. I've got so much scar tissue, and I've never been able to do a full squat. She's made fun of me when I go to kind of squat down. I can't maintain it. I end up falling over on my butt because I had that knee problem.
Yeah.
So I started working on that and realized it wasn't my knee. It was my ankle. My ankle was the problem. And so I could hear my body tell me that. And so I started strengthening, working on my ankle. And as I was doing that, I now can do squats.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
It is working.
Yeah.
So evolution came with changing the diet. I'm pretty sure that you have to change your mind and your emotions through it, right?
Yes.
Like really let go and embrace the new emotions. Then the body finally got it and says, okay, I'm going to reset. I'm going to show you how you can heal. And, I'm going to re-heal myself. And I'm going to let you to hear it now. Another curious question is, do you hear it on Gina's body now? Does the Gina's body talk to you and saying, I need to fix this?
Well, she's got free
Yes.
will, so I mention things to her, but it's like me. I'll shine a light on it, and then try to get her attention, and then it's up to her.
Oh, absolutely. The way I'm asking is, so you naturally activated your healer's ability within you, which would mean, the way how your body is healing and changing, which I would say naturally mean that you have a healing ability to heal the others, the way how you heal to yourself. So it's like, shining the lights. Okay, so I put the hands over the Gina's body and I says, okay, sweetie, there's something in your wrist that needs to be this. I can adjust the energy, but I can guide you through it, how, because of course she needs to contribute and be the active part of the healing and doing it herself. But you probably will have this ability to hear the body telling you, I have congested level. Can you tell her, please? This is example.
Yeah.
I agree with you. We've had to work through some trust things, stuff that wasn't really between us. It was things that we brought to this relationship.
Yeah.
And we've been working through that, because if I tried to tell her something, I may come from a point of love, but she may see it as judgment and being critical. And so we've had to work through that. We've had long conversations. We talk about different things, but I'm the kind of person where I bring it up, and then if I see you're not with me, I move on. I'm not going to stay there if you're not meeting me. I'll bring it up. I have no problem bringing up the topic. But if you're not willing to come meet me halfway, then I say, okay, we'll put this off and we'll deal with it when you're ready. And so that's kind of where we are right now. She's cleared up a lot of physical issues that she had when we did the plant diet and whatnot. But she's now, you could correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like she sees what I've done and she's like, cool, I want to do that. And so now she's working on developing her own healing abilities. She's doing it at her own pace. My pace is my pace. I told her a while ago that I felt I was tip of the spear, meaning I was going to be a beacon. I was going to show people what's possible. And so we've talked about it. I found out, I've never really followed astrology that closely. My mother did, and she would point out things that, this week's going to be really good for you. And I was like, okay. I never really paid that much attention to it, but not that long ago, maybe within the last
year.
Well, year or two. Yeah. I was looking it up and I started getting a little bit more. I was always told I was a Sagittarian, so I always followed that, but I always felt like something was off. I would read my horoscope occasionally, but I always felt like it was there was something there, but it was being distorted. And so I started reading the horoscopes for Scorpio and for Sagittarius, because they're right on top of each other. And that gave me a better idea. Well, I just found out within the last couple of years that I'm actually of the 13th house. Ophiuchus, which is the healer.
Are you familiar with the 13th? Oh, okay. Yeah, so there's a 13th sign that our system is set up on the 12.
Oh, you mean the Mayans' 13th sign around the Maya date?
The 13th astrology sign. So it's called Ophiuchus, and it sits between Capricorn and Sagittarius. Or it's the beginning of Sagittarius, right?
Yeah, it's like.
I'm sorry, Scorpio and Sagittarius.
Yeah, it's like November 30th through December 11th.
Okay, that's so cool.
I was born on December 1st. So
in between. Okay.
But so I started looking up Ophiuchus, and I'm reading this stuff, and I'm going, oh, that's me.
That's me. That's so cool.
Yeah.
See, yeah, I don't know too much about astrology, same like you. Like I read the horoscope, but I have a few good friends who just says like, oh, that's what happened, and that's when you do this, and don't sign anything on that day. I was like, okay, I'll listen to you guys. I'm so awesome. So you are a healer, okay? So we know that you don't tell to Gina what to do. You're not the boss of her, and making fun out of it. But let's say if you, I just like to make fun out of the things because
we do too.
Yes, we do too.
And so did you ever try to heal the other people? Did you try to feel with the other people what they need?
I just found out. So I don't really engage.
The answer is no.
Yeah, the answer is no. I don't really.
Okay. She was like, no, we're not gonna go there. He's not ready for it.
I've been telling her for years now that I come across as probably a little too. Not that I was always an extrovert. I've only within the last, say, 10 years have I become more introverted. But I seem to intimidate a lot of people because I know.
What would be that?
But I seem to know who I am, and people tend to, I don't know, instead of come at me like, just deal with me on an even level, they seem to get behind me. And so they end up, whether they know it or not, they end up elevating me, and it puts us in a different situation, different relationship where I can't deal with them as peers anymore. So it's hard to approach people that way. Now, a lot of that was my discomfort with it because I felt it going on and I didn't know how to handle it. So I've secluded myself over the last quite a few years to further understand who I am and what am I doing. Now that I know, I've been telling her for like the last 6 months, it's getting ready to happen. It's getting ready. I feel like I'm getting ready to go on the biggest, best, longest vacation that is going to test me in the way that I want to be tested and enlighten me the way I want to be enlightened. And I'm packing my bags.
Yeah, because I think when you talk about that was also during the time when you were fighting being a leader. So it was kind of like people were trying to push you into leadership, and you were going, no, I don't want to. I'm not that. That.
That's hard.
So every time someone would say, Tim should be in charge, or a leadership role would pop up, I would say, nope, not me, not me. I've been doing that all my life because I saw how leaders were treated. And I said, no, I don't want any part of that. So, yeah, I think a lot of my discomfort was being pushed on them because they recognized something in me that I didn't want any part of. I wasn't heart ready for that.
Now it's interesting because when we met, I had a Reiki attunement. So I do Reiki, I do Reiki on myself, but I've also with others, and so we've talked about Reiki and, using the healing energy to do things and stuff like that. But I think I'll speak and you tell me if I'm wrong, but Tim's more you kind of heal your own self in a way. You take responsibility for yourself and you work on healing yourself. You can see somebody else's example, but it's, so I don't know that he would step into healing me, or doing things to heal me.
I don't mean necessarily you, but I mean the others. So let's say that this is how I understand, okay? So you step back, Tim, to understand yourself, really go within, go very to the temple and really see what is working, what is not working, who I am, what the darkness, what is the light, what is it that I didn't go good in life, that I need to let go, transform, forgive, do all that stuff, and what it is that it's my strength, that I'm really good, that I am a leader, but I don't really know how to be the leader in this world because there's a lot of ego, struggle, power, fight, and so much on.
Right.
So you went back and you really redefined yourself. I would say that you have done some incredible job. It's almost like, when the Jesus Christ would go for his initiation, be out of the world and, to going away. And then you can have to eventually merge back into the world, because as awesome as it is, we have to bring our energy to the service to the others, right?
Yes.
And that's sometimes the uncomfortable part to do it. So you literally can hold a lot of light within your body, this healing energy. So you are like literally, the walking light, a walking temple, walking beacon of this healing energy. So that way you meet with the people, and there's no more this questioning, whether they can meet me on this level, do I meet them here on there? I have this light and I'm easily can fluctuate. It doesn't lower my vibration anymore. If I'm with somebody who just, wants to have a steak every day, then I can talk to this person, and just by him, for example, be in a frequency of you, this person may say, wow, this gives me the digestion and I always feel like swollen, doesn't really feel good. You know what, Tim, how did you do it? Did you look so good and this and that? And that's where you get them. That's where they meet you. It's almost like you prop them with the energy that will make them to question. If they are ready, if the soul is ready, then it's going to question and says, I want what you're having. What is it that you are eating? Or what is it that you are doing? And if they don't, I think that we all learn to respect everybody at their own level. If this is what they're going to do for the rest of their life, it's okay. It is their choice, right? It is, and like what we are sowing, the law of the sowing and reaping, right? I may pronounce it wrong, but that's what it is. That's what our destiny is. So what we sow, that's what we get back. That's what we're going to harvest. Mm-hmm. And so emerging yourself, or I guess emerging yourself up into the society would mean just to hold your light and just to be who you are. And who is ready for it will find you. Who isn't will still benefit from that energy that you carry.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you, and thank you for saying that. Mm-hmm. I believe you're catching me right now as I'm ready to step off. Because I told her, and I've been telling her for quite a while, that no matter what I do, whoever I'm trying to help, because my intentions are good. Mm-hmm. I've been known to, occasionally hurt someone, but my intention was not to hurt them.
Yeah.
I told her, and I fully believe this, my Hippocratic oath, which is first, do no harm. Yeah. And I felt, up until now, I felt that I needed more knowledge and I needed to open my heart more before I felt comfortable that I would not do harm. Mm-hmm. So now I feel like I've reached that point and now I'm surpassing it. So now it's a matter of, how do I want to go about this and have fun and also help people and shine my light and make it the most it can be and not have expectations. So that I'm not going to, if someone comes to me and asks me a question about, hey, can you help me with my inflammation or whatnot? And I give them the answer and then they don't do it, I don't take offense to it, because once I give them that knowledge, I'm hands off. There's no attachment there.
Yes.
And that's what I was missing before, because I was the kind of person, if I gave you some advice and you didn't do it, that it was almost as if you were slapping me.
Mm-hmm. Like you didn't appreciate, you weren't
right.
appreciated.
But now I can do it. I'm found enough of myself to where I can intend to help someone, give them some insight, but I also feel like I have the capability of using my higher self to contact their higher self to say, I don't want to give them all the answers. What is it that I could shine a light on that'll get them through this stuck point and move to the next point so that they could do it themselves? And I feel like I'm ready to do that now.
That's where you are. Exactly. I was just thinking if you start with sharing your wisdom, because you already gain a lot of knowledge, and from the knowledge you took this wisdom. The wisdom is just the refined part of yourself that works, that all the what you have learned that works, right? So you have this bag of the wisdom that you have. Of course, your soul power, your natural abilities, open with that. Your heart opens, you assess your ancient knowledge, bits and pieces that we get, and it opens. That, as you said, the team's wisdom, let's say for today, is that every healer that is out there has to let go of their own ego and expectation and have to learn to respect the person. So if the person comes to me who has a cancer, but a person is not ready or is not willing or doesn't want to listen my advice, then I can sit there with a person and hold the hand and be compassionate toward even that pain for that moment. You don't have to sit with a person every day because that's taking advantage of you, of your energy. But you know what I mean? But at that moment, I can sit there and be compassionate about the pain, and even to that part that this soul is not ready for the healing and will pass on the other side. Then the higher self sends you this thing that the healing will go to the soul. It doesn't go to the body, but to the soul, that it's okay. I did not master this lesson in this lifetime, or maybe I did brought this, suffering and the part of the early passing away. So it maybe trigger my family, everybody around them, that triggers them, to do better or different things in their life. But that energy always there. So the wisdom is to respect everybody on their path, wherever they are. And you are not any less healer or the less spiritual person if people do not follow your advice to the dot. That's where the true teacher is born. The true teacher that you are going to be, or you are emerging out of the cave. You are that caterpillar getting out of the, the thing, stretching your wings. Usually see the woman like a butterfly, but that's how you are. You are a man butterfly.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think I'm, like I said, I wanted to make sure that I did no harm first. And the ego was part of it. I also realized my attachment to the advice I would typically give. So, and I've been telling her for quite a while that we humans are terrible at providing aid. We want to provide aid, but how we go about, we often hurt the ones we're trying to help because we don't know how to provide aid, because we're cut off, we've cut ourselves off from ourselves that provides that type of link to someone else.
Yeah.
Say, they may be asking for this, but this is what they really need. So I think I had to come to grips with that, so much so that if someone, I'm not saying it's happened yet, but if someone comes to me and asks for help, and my higher self is saying, tell them no, I've got to be able to do that. And that's hard to do.
That's hard. I remember when that happened to me for the first time, and tell you what, I didn't listen to the voice, and it was a disaster. Yeah. The person in the hill, it was a disaster. Anyway, you see, this is really the teaching of the Jesus Christ. I do have a feeling you are Pleiadian being team. Like, the Gina is the Syrian, you are the Pleiadian, you have all this beautiful, the thing going on. But that's a classical Pleiadian teaching, which was, it was in the Atlantis, it was in the Egypt, it was widely used among the Essenes, right? The group of the Jesus Christ. And they had a story to saying that Jesus Christ did not heal everybody. It wasn't that he touched and he healed. He healed only those who were worthy to be healed. Or maybe I'm using the wrong words. But what he did, he connected the soul, or how you call it, the higher self. And he asked Saul, are you ready to be healed? Or what is it that you need? Sometimes it was just kind of the advice or something. When the soul was 100% ready, that miraculous healing would happen because that soul was 100% ready for the change. Right. And I see people like that. They're going through transformation, they understand it, they are ready to change their life, they are changing their life, their emotions, are lined up, and the healing happened just like, it happened. And if somebody comes, let's say, I have this example that I'm using for years, there are like these three group of people. So the first one is the miraculous happening, right? The second group of the people of the healing is like those who were like half want to go. So there will be something who has an alcoholic problem and comes and says, oh, my kidney are failing, would you rejuvenate them? Was like, yes, let's see what we can do. Feels that the energy is going to the kidney, but the person refused to drink. And he will tell you, well, I'm just going to drink on the weekends. I'm not going to drink 5 days of the week. I'm going to drink only 2 days of the week. The kidney will come back to the disease again. It's not going to happen. But the energy gives this person a chance. There will be a temporary healing and the illness will return. I have seen this in the healings. Then there's a third group of people who just don't want to make any changes, wants the miracle happen right away, wants to healing, and they are just like, people in their very ego set kind of the mind. That's healing doesn't happen. It's not because the energy doesn't want to go them. It says, you didn't change. You are not ready for this. So just go and suffer with whatever you are doing. And I believe this is how Jesus Christ really healed. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't, this, that people put him on the pedestal and he was this miraculous healer. No, he connected with the soul. He was a soul healer who connected with the soul. And through that emotions, it went into the body and then things happen. Mm-hmm. And if you think of it, that's what happened to you, Tim. There are other kind of the healers, let's say Andromedian healers, which are fantastic body healers. Like they can heal the broken bones and the burns, something that doesn't have that emotional attachment, big attachment to it. Like let's say the heart disease has an emotional attachment, right? But the broken bone is the broken bone that happened. Of course, the things happen. So these healers are like freaking amazing. Like they put their hands over it and they don't have to check with the soul. Oh, that bone can be healed? Like it's the bodily thing and it can be healed. That emotion happens. So your healing is the soul healing. That's why you're feeling it. And that's why you have to really listen to that voice, because otherwise you're going to burn yourself. Like I did a few times, and it's not a pleasant thing. And especially when people demand or offer you, whatever. And then you says, I'm sorry, I can do it. But what you can do, it's not that we are hopeless. You can give this person a self-work, recommend a book, or give some kind of the exercise. It's not that because it may come kind of almost, I don't want to say egoistic, but come almost like, nope, sorry, I can't heal you, right? But he says, okay, we're not ready for this, but how about you read this book, or did you watch these YouTube videos, or would you meditate 5 minutes a day? If that, you can open them to lead them toward the healing. You know what I mean? I work with several people which we really do this session to lead them into the healing, which may happen in a year or so. I just have a girl that I worked for almost 2 years, and she just made a breakthrough. But it was so much offsetting energy. And she was willing to do it. She was willing to do the work and meditations and emotional transformation. So you can always guide them in that and have that word of wisdom for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I think what I've been doing is I came up with kind of some standard approaches for dealing with different type of beings with certain set of circumstances where their souls are, and how I would deal with those, because I do a lot of stuff virtually in my mind, in my heart. And so I came up with those, and I think I got it to where it wasn't just about the procedure I was going to follow, but whether or not it would resonate with me, and I could hold that. I could hold that energy and be able to do it and feel myself doing it, and then walk away from it not feeling depleted and feeling regret or anything that was negative associated with that. So I think I started there. And then recently I've said, well, that's not enough. That's not enough for me. So now I've been working on my individualistic approach, which is more associated with someone comes to me and my answer might be no, but then I say, well, I like opportunities, so I might be more inclined to challenge them. Show me that you want to be healed, and I will meet you there. So it isn't just because a lot of we've talked about this. Free things to people often are associated with it doesn't really mean that much. They don't put that much value in it. So not all of us are like that. And the ones that are not like that, those are easier to heal because they're going to appreciate and they're going to take that energy and apply it correctly and then let it linger and let it propel them forward. Whereas there are some individuals through traumas or whatnot, they've been hurt and they won't let themselves trust in that. Yeah. And so they work better being challenged. They don't like someone telling them you can't do that. So
maybe, I'm sorry to jumping in your hair, but because now I kind of get this brainstorm. Maybe you can even call it, instead of like, let me show me if you want to be healed. You can say, let me teach you how you can heal yourself.
Yeah. I often talk about
that's the approach. Yeah.
I talk about not feeding people fish, but teaching them how to fish.
Yes. That's how it is. Let me teach you how to heal. And in the process, of course they get healed. Oh my God, guys, you should call this video like "A Healer is Born" or something like that. Because that's what it is.
What I remembered was one day he was on, this was probably 3 years ago. He was we have a stair machine, like a stair thing. Climber. So he was in there on that climber, and all of a sudden he made some noise like, whoa, like this. And he's like, tears started filling his eyes. And he heard the word teacher. I mean, just like teacher.
Okay, but it was like a million voices all together saying, hey, teacher. And it was directed at me.
It was overwhelming.
And I got chills throughout my body, tears gushing out of. I went down on the ground, and then she came over and she didn't know what to do.
I was like, what I'm doing, but I don't want to take that away from you. I want you to feel the whole thing.
But nothing ever came that close to just being so overwhelmed with joy, bliss. It was, I don't even know how to describe. Those words don't even do it even the smallest amount of justice. It was so encompassing. I felt like every hair on my body was standing straight up, and I had electricity just coursing through my body and exciting every cell that it could, and I didn't want it to end.
That's when you connected with the true essence of yourself, with your soul or higher self, whatever we call it, and that's who you are. And that's, what you're saying about this healing and everything is absolutely, I would say, it's the best approach. Let me teach you how you can heal. So I'm not going to heal you. You're going to heal yourself. I'm going to teach.
Oops. Oh, we're frozen.
Did we freeze?
Yeah.
Here we
go. Okay. Energy will contribute to it, and that's how it's going to be.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. But there was a point where I knew I was a healer. But I think I was ready to step off, and my higher self reconnected with me in a very powerful way and said, hold on, let me tell you what your options are here, okay? This isn't short term. This is long term. So let's think long term here. And it said, you can go out now and start healing people. You can do that. And you will address these kinds of issues, and you will have this kind of impact. And I said, okay, I can feel that. And then they said, okay, but if you take some more time and look deeper inside yourself, go deeper, and start pulling up what you're fully capable of in this moment and why you were really meant, why you came here, what your true mission is. Here's what you can do if you do that, if you go in deeper and whatnot. And it was here you go. And as soon as it did, it was like, oh my gosh, it just overwhelmed me. And then once it kind of faded back, I said, well, I can't say no to that. Yeah. So I went back to school. I basically felt like I was graduating college and thinking, I'm going to hit the workforce.
The medical student and to become a doctor, right?
Exactly. And basically someone stopped me and said, let me,
Go to another school.
yeah, let me take you on a tour of the hospital and the kind of things that are being done
Yeah.
and what you could do if you went back to school and invested your intent on this.
Yeah.
And I said, well, once I saw that and I felt the energy, I couldn't say no.
Yeah, that's cool.
So now I feel like I'm just now graduating.
Good.
From now I can actually put MD after my name.
Yeah.
But the graduation's happening. Awesome. Yeah, it's time to go to the world because world needs it. This year is the year number 3, is the catalyst. So it's about to start to do, what you have to do, because the next year is the year of abundance. So it can be amazing abundance, or it can be crazy abundance. But I think it's going to be amazing, positive abundance, because you guys know what you're doing and where you're going and how it's going to be. And that's cool. This world is a better place that you accept that you're calling.
Well, we're all special. No one's more important than anyone.
I know. Absolutely.
People are performing missions that I can't do. And I thank them for doing that. And some of these missions are very dark.
They are, yeah.
But we needed them to do that in order for us to experience that from this side. So
I agree.
Anyone who thinks that they've come here and reincarnated over and over and over again and have never performed any of these dark roles, you're kidding yourself. We've all done it, and that's where our traumas have come from. And now it's time to call in own healing abilities. And for those who are really stuck, then there are the healers who have been provided to help you through those sticking points.
Yeah.
I'm a believer. I don't want to go around healing everybody. I want to teach people how to heal.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely amazing. Guys, I just need to open the door for my dog. I'm sorry before you scratch the door. But I'm really happy that you said about those dark missions and the stuff, because a lot of starseeds, believe. And several years ago back, quite a few years ago back, I was one of them who believed, like, me have a dark past life. No, Pleiadians don't have it, and this. I even actually wrote it in the Starseed Guide, which I wrote several years ago. So that sentence there is not valid anymore. We all had it. And I think that the soul goes into the shock, and there's a huge part of us that doesn't want to acknowledge it. There's a lot of people in the souls, especially, the spiritual people, go like, oh, I have to acknowledge it. I did this, and I took that. And to be here, as you said, we had to experience everything from the left to the right, from be the worst people to be the good people, and everything. And there's no shame in it to address it now, because as long as we are on the good path now, everything is good. I mean, how long we should punish ourselves for the past lives? And some of them were very unconscious past lives that we have chosen, to do all kind of the crazy stuff.
Yeah, and I believe that we have just kind of signaled a global pardon for everyone. And all you have to do is accept it.
Yes.
All you have to do is accept it and allow the healing energies to tell you forward. But they have to come forward, and they have to accept it. That's the thing, is they have free will. We can't make them accept the pardon.
Well, we can declare it in this video. Whoever sees it and they are ready to forgive themselves and be the pardon for everything, or as I said, step out of your karma. You can step out of your karma at any time. As long as from now on you are the person on the path of the light, it doesn't matter what you have done in the past. Even the people in this lifetime have a time to reform themselves. If something bad that was going on, if they turn and start to do the good and be in the service of the humanity and the people and help one another, at least you help your neighbor, right? Then you are pardoned energetically.
Yeah. Well, I was talking to her the other day, and I said, what would happen? Okay, I'll speak for myself. If I woke up tomorrow and I could manifest anything I wanted directly, right away, I could manifest, I felt completely clear of all traumas, everything. That's possible for all of us. The issue is, could I then hold it? could I hold that space that day, the next day, the next day, the next day? That's the issue that we're dealing with. Is some people might believe in some of these things, but they have these things that they will not, they're like boat anchors. They're holding them to these spots, and they won't let go of them. They're attached to them. So they can feel this, but then they feel this pull back from this boat anchor. What we need to do is help them release those boat anchors. And those are the traumas. Those are the deep, 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 dark traumas that even though they want to let them go, they part of their identity has been associated with that trauma.
But I think, if you taste it once, if you try that energy once and you really feel it, as you says, if for the one day or for the 1 hour, I can hold it and I can feel this feeling. And then I fall back into these anchors and the traumas, okay, it's like leeches, right, on your back, for example. Then they come back. You already tasted something, you experienced something that you want because it was most amazing and greater than anything else. Same as you, Tim, we would like to have again that feeling when all your hair stood on your body and all cell was vibrating with electricity, right? You want that feeling again, so you strive yourself so you go to that feeling again. So I would say the biggest success is that when you experience it at least once. And then these people it may sound weird, my approach to it, but they don't need a healer to come to them and take all those leeches out because they're going to be another one who comes. But they need that teaching of how to take these leeches out, how I'm going to deal with it, how I'm going to deal with the anger that comes, how I'm going to deal with when the panic attack comes, what I'm going to do, They really need to, I think, the teaching and the tools. So let's say, when you have a panic attack, or anxiety, you hold about your eyebrows and it brings the blood from your back brain to the front brain. So it starts oxygenating and it cannot hold this trauma and actually release it. Or where somebody is drawn, when they go into the shame and the guilt and it's just like going, that you had to go crazy. You can hold the tip of your nose and it actually disconnects the meridians, the energy that feeds into one another. Those are those little exercises that has been known from the ancient times that you will remember because you have used them in your past lives, the before. And there can be these little tools that I would say you should definitely journal, your own experience and the tools that you have that work for you, and you give them to them. So you says, okay, with my energy, we spend, 1 hour of healing, or I have this inspirational talk, and the people in your, let's say that you are you will be speaking some inspirational speaking on how they can do it, okay, how you can heal yourself or life, hypothetically. So people come there will be the 100 people who are gonna, or let's say 1,000 people are going to be there and listen to it and go like, yes, amazing, awesome. And then they go home and as you says, they have this like, oh, the leeches come back and here I am. So they need to come out of that inspirational speaking seminar with the tools. I can do 1, I can do 2, or I can do 3 of those things. I have something that I take home to empower me so I don't have to do it. So if I could wish for something, I wish to have those tools for people. You know what I mean? If you and I and Gina and anybody who listens us today, if we can get it together and to heal the whole humanity, the question is, does the whole humanity want to be healed? How do they want it? Are they ready for it? Or are they ready to take that 1, 2, 3 tools, that can be so simple or more complicated, doesn't matter. And it says, I can do it. Can I go on that tour of the hospital too? That gives them the personal powers that we can do. And there's a lot that we can do. There's a lot that you can do because you have an energy, you have ideas, you have things that work for you. I mean, you work hard for it. And you both, working in this, what is working, what is not working. So you both have a lot of tools of the wisdom that works.
Yeah, I agree. I think the timing is coming together now. I think enough of the energies are hitting these people that were not ready before, but these energies are actually freeing up some on them and relieving them at least of some small things, enough to where their frequency comes up, even if just a little bit. It's enough.
Yep, that's the man. That's the man.
It wasn't enough before, but with these new energies, it's enough to at least get them looking. It's like I feel like I left the light on or something.
Yeah.
It's just that it's a feeling that I need to
Yes.
go here. And once they find themselves there, they don't even know why they're there. Then the next thing happens, and the next thing, and the next thing. And yeah, I'm a firm believer. I don't want to be handing out the healings. I want to teach people to, I know that if I heal you right now, you'll be back here next week wanting to get healed again. And I can already see it. So what I want to do is show you when you feel yourself falling back in there, here's how you can heal yourself. And before long, you'll get into that pattern of moving yourself away, your own self away from that trauma.
Yeah, and that's what True Teacher does.
Yeah, and that's what we, it's interesting you brought that up, because we've been talking about that lately. And one of the things that has been in my meditations this week is a list of those things that I've been using. And so I'm actually planning this weekend to start doing some recordings about some of those various tools that people use. So it's funny that it's coming up right now, because I've got a list going. It's like, and I told him yesterday, I was like, all this stuff was coming up, like you've done this and this and all this information. I'm like, man, I mean, all of those things that together we've explored and tried, and some of it worked, some of it we kept, some of it worked, and we just chose something different. And so it's really personal as to what works for you. So I've had this growing desire that, and more videos will come out on this channel, kind of highlighting some of those different tools and kind of where people can go to learn more, and those kind of things, because I feel that pressure right now for that.
And we had to break the habit of thinking everybody knows what we know.
I know.
Yeah, because I had friends ask me something, and I'd be going like, "You didn't know about that?" And it's like, "Oh yeah, okay."
Yeah. Oh, you think it's like so simple, and they look at you like, yeah, I totally know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That really works. That's the shame. Oh my God. Like my big past pattern was the shame. So this was like a miracle thinking. And it really does, in the ancient books, we have this like two fishes who are like connected together. I think from the Sumerian records. And what it shows, I think it is from Sumerian records, but I'm not 100% sure. But I know it's in the ancient like drawings. It's a connection between the central and governing meridian that are actually connected together. And so here is your feeling center, here is your nervous system, physical center. So your feeling center feeds it into the nervous system, physical center through your spine. And so your whole body feels really bad, because, when you feel the shame and the guilt, it goes like in the stomach and the lower belly and everywhere. It drains your energy. You feel you want to just sleep, don't want to get out of the bed. 1 or 2 minutes. And it's funny, if you're really feeling it and then you hold it at the tip of the nose, then you start to feel like uncomfortable, almost like put your hand away, just leave me alone. Like it's very irritating, yet it doesn't hurt. And so you get through it, and it's like, it's like, sugar craving. Like when you stop eating the sugar and a body goes, sugar, give me more sugar. You're gonna die if you don't have sugar. And then suddenly it's like, so that's the release from emotions. But you guys, you could write a book about all of this. It would be a good book. Like, Gina and Tim, the team. That would be a good book. You guys would put something good together, I think. Just to plan the ideas for the future.
Yeah, we're much more open about things, possibilities now. I feel like we have, like a door is open and we have so many options. There's just too many to pick from, but so I'm letting my heart guide me to say what's flowing the most freely towards me and resonates with me.
Plus I'm out of the planning. We both are massive planners in our past, and so getting out of the planning, because even to start the videos around some of these tools, normally I would have mapped it all out, figured out a schedule I was going to do it, and wouldn't start unless I had everything done. And now it's just like, nope, I'll just start, see where it goes. If it
Just give it a
takes off,
flow.
it goes. If it doesn't, if something else comes along in the process, that's fine too. So I think both of us have learned to just kind of roll with it. But yeah, we've talked about several things, and we both feel like the door is flying open right now. So it's that's definitely the energy we've been feeling.
Isn't it funny, like when you really step into the trust and, the guidance, I would say, that's that your higher self guides you, the God guides you because you are the God, right? And instead of you striving to do those things, you says, okay, those are the possibilities that are there and I let you to guide me. And suddenly everything becomes easier.
Yes.
Suddenly all the, people goes like, I'm blocked, I'm limited, this doesn't work. And when you get into it, suddenly like, oh, and the right people go on your path and guide you and give you advice. And it's like the door opening just in the front of you. I think that is the miracle happening right there.
And that's the fun. That's where the fun is,
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, we tend to take all the, if you're on a 2-year journey to reach something, we take all the problems of that 2 years and we bring it up front and
try to problem
and
solve.
try to, and then we go, oh, it's too big. Looking at it with a summation of 2 years worth of problems all in 1 second. And that ends up deterring us from doing a lot of things. Now we're realizing we don't, that's getting rid of the planning eliminates all that lumping of problems all at once. So now we just kind of, if I start doing something and I keep running into roadblocks, then I say, not time yet. I'll go do something else. So I'm more prone. I used to be, you don't stop something till you're done. Now I'm like, well, I might start something, and if it's not flowing, I'm put on standby. I can move on to something else and listen to myself.
Beat my head against the wall, right? There's no need for it anymore.
No.
Well, we have a saying. Well, I have a saying. I'll speak for myself. Between my higher self and me, I'm not the brains of the outfit.
I like it. I like it. I like that.
So good. So good. So we didn't even hit our list, but we've been going for a while. So
I'm okay with it.
It's great. Yeah.
How
I don't even know what.
We want to be respectful of your time. So.
Yeah, I think we had a great talk. I so much enjoyed this with you guys. It was awesome.
A lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
just flew.
again sometime. Yeah.
Yeah, we're wide open. I like this energy. It feels conducive to moving thoughts and ideas and the heart forward, and that's what I want to be a part of that, but I also want to bring it to others.
Yeah, and I feel, and I always tell him all the time, everything that I'm drawn to is creating containers. So I try to create containers for that kind of flow and that kind of interaction, and anywhere that we can create a container in the space for us to play like we've done here with you, Eva, it's a lot of fun. So, it's a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Do you want to say to wrap up before I stop the
recording.
video? Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for inviting me over and everybody who's listening to us. That there's absolutely pleasurable time. I really enjoy this energy and talking and exchanging the ideas and kind of the point of views, which I think we have a very same. And I'm looking forward to next wisdom from the Tim and Gina, or the Gina and Tim, whatever you want to call it. I really like it. So let's all remember, I would say for today, I'm very grateful, like to summarize it, right? My brain does organize a little bit, that whoever wants to walk out of the karma can walk out of the karma if they decided to. It's like, declare this day, okay, I'm done with my karma and I choose the path of the light. And from today on, I embrace this path of light. And when the bad thing's going to happen to me, I'm going to look at it with the gratefulness instead of the hatefulness. And that we're gonna respect everybody's choices, even if they see them that these choices are less vibrational or they are not with our beliefs or with our, what we would like for them. That we are, as a healers, we are willing and I guess grown up enough to respect somebody else's choices, even if they could be destructive, what they often been. And we are here to offer the help, but not force it to anybody.
Right. Love them anyway.
Yeah, I think that's a hard part for people, because it means check yourself when you start judging somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's a hard thing to do, but we're facing it, because I catch myself doing it all the time and go, whoa, I don't have to fix it overnight, but I should be aware of it, because it belongs.
That's that step. Yeah. And the same here, when I catch myself too, it was like, just step back. And sometimes we make mistakes and we say the things that we mean in the good way and they may come up in the bad way. But it is not that we want to harm to people. We do it with the good intentions. And sometimes we just, need to backstep it a little bit and just continue on our journey.
Yes. Yeah, and I feel like something came out for me earlier and it resurfaced again as another point of this is the conversation we've had about what emerged and the things that came to you as far as teacher and the feelings and the evolution of your being. You said it earlier, everybody has this, it's like we have a core purpose, gift, something that's imprinted on our soul, and the more we can get in touch with that and kind of remove things that are hiding that, the more every one of us can feel the very thing that you described, and do this evolution. We might not all be healers, or we might not all be teachers, but we all have the gifts of something that we came to this planet to bring forward for the benefit of all of humanity. And so I encourage, anybody to, nobody's held up on any pedestal. It's just go within and find that for yourself and bring it out and let us play with it.
Yes, find the unique part of yourself. Absolutely. Absolutely. So thank you guys. Thank you for having me here.
It was a blessing.
I'm sure I'm going to see you again.
Yeah, hold on just a moment. I'm going to stop the video here.